If there's one thing we've learned about business and life, it's that people are the X factor. They constantly surprise us, both in amazing ways and not so much. We're Ben and Syya, and welcome to the Gnaw on This Business Bites podcast. This show is all about real life things we all deal with every day, how they relate to business, and how to make some sense out of our daily chaos. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of Gnaw on This Business Bites. I'm Ben, and this is Syya. April Fools, everyone.
Woo,
Now,
wait.
Oh, we got the right sound effect?
Oh, wait. April Fools.
April Fools.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Syya.
How are we today?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
I know. I'm trying to think of a way out of this skit that I just started. I don't know.
Okay, well, just find your way
April
out of the skit.
Fools. I'm a
April
happy
Fool-
Syya.
That would
be April Fools.
There we go. Here's the question for everybody. Is deception ever a good thing? Is deception a good thing? I mean, what a perfect thing to talk about on April Fools. And I can't wait to read the comments on this, because everybody's going to have an opinion on this. But we need to think as individuals, as corporations, as governments, as religious organizations, as social groups, as whatever. When is deceiving somebody, or is deceiving somebody, ever a good thing? Does the deception have some level of justification if it meets an end goal? And I think we need to think about this. So, Syya, let's gnaw on this. You love that one.
I do love that one. You know why? It's the story of my freaking life. What are you talking about here? No, I gotta tell you, man, I don't like the word deception because it means to deceive someone, which has a negative connotation, which the assumption being is you're benefiting off the deception of others. So that's where my brain
is a white
goes.
lie a deception?
But there's you made me gnaw on this, AA Ron, because I can think of many scenarios of which could a white lie be the better route, meaning I'll go deep and then I'm going to bring it light. Okay.
Go for it.
Deep is knock on wood, you have a family member. They maybe are of a certain age. They've lived a long, long life. They are definitely in their twilight years, and they get diagnosed. Do you tell them? Right? I think that's a question that it's an ethics thing. And it's also if you know they don't have that much longer in life, do you really want to stress it out? And it reminds me of Babe Ruth. I believe they did not tell Babe Ruth that he had cancer. I think towards the end.
Right.
And it's like an anecdote, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember reading it as a kid where basically he was in a wheelchair and he's, going in and he goes, wait a second, isn't this a place, to treat cancer? And I guess the nurse, quick thinking, said, oh, and other ailments, because I guess for whatever reason, they decided not to tell him what he actually had and that it was incurable and he didn't have that much longer. They wanted him to live in ignorance, if that makes, ignorance is bliss. So you're really making me go deep on that first thought. Second, though, I'm going to pull it back up into happy, because it's not on this, not sad, not on this, is, look, if you're wearing a shirt that you love, Ben, and I'm like, that is the gassiest looking thing I've ever seen, but it makes you happy, I will deceive you all day long and I will support you, my friend. Though, if it doesn't look good, I have to respect it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because
how many of us have ever told people, our friends, that their baby's ugly?
I mean, I might tell you that's a very bright shirt you got on, or isn't that a shirt you're wearing? Right. But
that shirt has a real statement to it. There we go.
Wow, you're making a statement. Yes. But you know what, though? I think it's, again, because who's to say that my opinion trumps yours? Right. if you like something and it makes you happy, as long as it's not hurting other people, aka if your shirt ain't blinding me, I'm kidding. Even if it is neon, I might chuckle. I might actually do like sock puppets because they're so bright. Okay. Oh, wait. You're going to take this away from me, aren't you?
I really have to unplug that thing. If I could unplug that thing from here, I probably would.
Oh, guys, it's April Fools, man.
That's true.
But let me ask you this, April Fools, do we feel like if we are being deceived, do we feel like a fool?
I think there probably is a point to that. I mean, here's the thing is that if we, if we're the person at the poker game that can't figure out who the shill is, it's us. And that's life.
Mm-hmm.
If all of a sudden the question is, are people laughing with you or are they laughing at you? And a lot of people take this very self-consciously. A lot of people have a lot of self-doubt. Are people telling me the truth? Are people telling, why didn't somebody tell me I had gum in my hair? Why didn't somebody tell me I had spinach in my teeth? And a lot of people, don't want to make waves and don't want to, quote unquote, embarrass somebody. But on the other hand, letting somebody walk around with their underwear hanging out may not be the greatest thing. They say, "Oh, you look lovely in that thing." No, you don't. You don't look lovely in it. And maybe it might be better to sit there and say, you know what? That dress may not be the most flattering on you today. And instead of letting somebody go out there and wear something that other people will look at the person and say, why are they wearing that?
Okay, I have to tell you this because I run into this many times, and I'm learning tact. Apparently,
Tact
I
is a
can't
good
just say,
thing.
"What the hell is that on you?" I learned you cannot say that to individuals. So I will give a shout out to Janice Shokrian, with whom I think
Yep.
you know, with
Yes, very
founder of
much so.
Tausi Brands. Shout out. She has such a great high EQ for that. When it's like, I love her because she was coaching me one day on something, and perfect question, you guys. Everyone and anyone should take this. Hey, so tell me, what is it about this dress that you like so much? Like, what is it about this dress you like? And I was like, holy crap on crackers. What is it about this proposal you like? What is it about this idea that you're throwing out in a business meeting that you like? And then they can re-articulate themselves in a way that's like, okay. And then you take out the bullet points in what they're saying, right? Oh, I like the fact that it gives me broad shoulders. I don't have droopy shoulders. And they might be looking like, do you remember Carol Burnett, the Gone with the Wind
With
sketch, where she's got the thingy?
the washboards.
Yes. So, I mean, again, it is, great way to open the door to listen to hear what it is that they really like about it. Because it may not be the dress per se. It could be, you know what? I've always wanted to just feel like I have broad shoulders, but I wanted to emphasize it because I have a small waist. Like, you really get to the why they really like something versus, wow, that dress, oh, wow, that idea.
I
Oh,
really
wow,
like
that
purple
quote, or
dresses.
whatever.
Okay. Maybe we could find you something else in purple that was a little bit more flattering.
Or it could be, so what is it about the shoulders that you really like, right?
Whatever.
Like, and then you start saying, oh, that's why you're insecure about it. So what if we did a softer shoulder pad versus like the freaking Joan Collins 80s, right? Although I think they're making a comeback, and I would love big shoulders again, because it was like David Byrne, same as it ever was. Okay, sorry. I'm throwing non sequiturs at you. It's April Fool's, my friend. I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm trying to hold on. I'm trying to hold them back on this kind of stuff. I just can't see you in the Joan Collins, shoulder pads. I just can't see. I'm hoping those things just never come back. That's what I'm just hoping.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare
interrupt my bridge party? You know what? No one has ever heard me say I want to watch another episode of Dynasty or Dallas, but now that I'm older, kind of into it. Just saying, they were catty. They were deliciously catty.
You know what?
April Fools, I never watched any of that, and nor do I have any desire, you guys. And nor do I really want shoulder pads to ever come back. Please no.
But let's get back to the deceptive thing. because the question is, when you're deceiving somebody, are you deceiving somebody that is in their best interest, or what you perceive to be in their best interest? And I think there is a distinction right there, because we think that this may be the right thing to do. However, is it the right thing to do for that person? Because what are the ramifications of not telling them the truth? What are you setting the other person up for failure? If perfect example, we tell people come up to us and says, I've got this new business idea. It says, oh yeah, that sounds great. And in the back of our mind going, that is never going to work. They're never going to raise any money for this. They're going to spin their wheels for 2 years. They're going to lose $100,000. And I can't see this thing ever making off the work. But what do we say? Oh yeah, that sounds great. And the question is, by doing that, you need to sit there and say, I'm not saying tear the thing apart, but what I'm saying is, it says, let's have, well, what were you trying to do? And being able to be consultative and empathetic and build around it. But by just saying, hey, that's great, and letting somebody think that they've built the next 12 slice toaster and they're going to make millions and millions of dollars off of it, you're doing nobody any good.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm torn on that what you just brought up, because when this, when you move into entrepreneurship, when you had a previous career in life, okay, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to get the everybody's that are like, oh, you sure you want to do that? Like, oh, you think you can handle it? Really? You're going to be, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? Again, deception, I think, is, to me, is what can you gain from a situation, right? And are you doing it for their interest or not, right? So if you're deceiving for the purpose of bettering yourself or bettering your position, that I can see where it gets really icky. If you
True.
are deceiving someone for the benefit of where you believe that, okay, it's the
I don't want to
alternative
hurt their
is
feelings.
worse. The alternative is worse outcome.
Yeah.
If to tell the truth, then maybe it's okay to refrain. And by the way, when we're talking about deception, I just want to give a shout out to the behavior panel team. Look at what I'm wearing. Okay. So this is a behavior panel thing, and it's all about reading body language and seeing deception on people. So
Nice.
Maybe because of the bias of this shirt, that's maybe empowering me to think more on this, which is sometimes deception is it's a subconscious thing. You're not even realizing you're doing it.
True.
And I think that's also the fascinating thing is again, it's your own body deceiving you, what your brain's thinking, and it's moving faster than you're really consciously, like that twitch in the eye, or you say something I don't agree with, and I'm like, because I'm forcing my mouth shut, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, is it ever good? I think in pranks, I think absolutely you need to know how to lie. If you're going to plan someone's surprise party, yeah, definitely need to know how to be deceptive. If you're doing it because you want to gain the advantage on someone outside of chess, I really don't want to be part of that behavior, but we know it's true. Like if you want to convince your life partner that you want to have sushi and they cannot stand fish, you're going to have to do some manipulation to get your way, but cry. I'm kidding. Don't cry. That's not fair.
But there's a difference between convincing your partner to have sushi and to having a kid. And that there are ethical lines, and there are things that you need to sit there and say, okay, what are the ramifications of this deception, not only but for me, but for everybody else involved. And how is this going to how am I going to be perceived moving forward when I get caught? Not if I get caught, but when I get caught.
That's true.
So let's leave it there. I'm Ben.
I'm Syya. I almost didn't say Syya. I was gonna say something. I don't know.
And we'll see you
I'm
soon.
having a day. April Fools, everyone.
April
You're getting
Fools.
a very focused Syya today.
We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys. Hey. Thanks for listening to another episode of Not On This Business Bites. If you liked what you heard, we most humbly ask that you like, share, and hit that subscribe button. If you want to communicate more effectively within your organization, contact Ben at IamBenBaker.com or me at BrilliantBeMedia.com. We can help you build your community, brand awareness, and personality through digital content and podcasting. We cannot wait to hear from you. See you next week for another episode of Not On This Business Bites.